Thank you very much, Doreen, for that comprehensive outlook on what we had on the headlines today. You've focused on the People Daily there, and there's quite an interesting story there in regard to the demand of some schools demanding a full payment of school fees despite the fact that pupils and students are currently home. One of the measures that the government put in place to stem the spread of COVID-19. Good morning once again. You're watching KBC Channel 1 and this is Good Morning Kenya. I'm Regina Manyara-Gitao. Now we want to talk about a vital demographic in the country that has been left out in as far as the fight of COVID-19 is concerned. Children, teenagers, young adults, we call them the youth. This morning, what is their feeling about what the government has done so far since Kenya announced or rather reported its first case on March 13th? Government has taken several steps to stem the spread of this pandemic that has so far claimed 15 lives locally. Among them is the issue of curfew, cessation of movement from 5 counties in the country, and also the closure of schools. How has this affected their lives, and what are their concerns during this time, and what would they want done better to make them feel more comfortable during this time? Now, to take us through that conversation is none other than Timothy Ekesa, who is Executive Director of Kenya Advancement of Children's Rights. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Glad to have you back after so many years.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good to see you too.
Yes. Now, we're talking about children, and the issue is from where you sit and the rights that you advocate for children. So far, government has taken several steps. One of them, closure of schools. Let's start from there.
Yes.
The closure of schools, at the same time, government maintaining that the national examinations are still on course because this, rather, learning is continuing online. Does it cut across all children, or are there some that are being left behind, and what can we do to ensure that all our children get equal services per se?
Thank you. I think that's a very big concern for us in the children's sector. The Kenya Alliance for Advancement of Children, we are a membership organization of many NGOs working for children, and that has been our concern from the time the schools were closed. We can confirm that maybe about 80% of children are not learning online because of various reasons. We know that many of them can't access telephones, they can't access TVs and radios. So it's true that they have not been learning. But again, at the same time, I want to say that talking to a number of schools that have been offering online education or online classes, most of them confirm that they're actually not doing the lessons in classes. They are keeping children busy and making them revise the things they have already done. So if the schools open, all the children will be at par. They'd be at the same place. But I know that children don't stop learning because they are not in school. Children always learn. So even if they are at home, they are learning something. My question is, what are they learning? We allowed those who are doing online learning because they are keeping children learning. But those who are not online, they're also learning something. And that's why I think this issue of the COVID-19, it is a social issue that will not only be handled by one sector of the country, but bring in all the social actors to see how do we keep children learning and learning the right things. Yeah.
Now, you've said children may not be accessing that online learning, or rather that platform that is being offered, but children are still learning.
Yes, they are.
And they're at home within that particular setup, their parents.
Yes.
So from a parent point of view, someone who is watching, how do we support our children to actually revise or get on with their studies? You know, parents are finding it very difficult to actually support the children in their learning process. What can they do?
I totally agree with you. And home is not the best environment for learning. Children like learning with others, being in school where they have the teacher teaching, they are marking the exams. The parent might not do that. But what they need to do, they just need to also get closer to their children, understand what they were given from school, and help walk through with them since they are staying at home, just to make them to make sure that they commit some time to study, some time to revise, and some time also to play. So as parents, we actually need to do a lot of education. Actually, right now is the best time to educate parents on how to be able to ensure that the children learn. And that's why we're really calling upon the Minister of Education plus other sectors to come up with programs that will enable parents to know how they can be able to help children to learn. Before the formal education came, we used to have informal education, non-formal education. There's a way in Africa, communities used to teach children.
Yes.
Maybe it is high time we went back to that time of how will children learn. Because my worry is that if we don't do it, they are still learning something. My worry is, what are they learning?
What are they learning at home?
Yeah.
So how do we ensure that what they are learning at home is of value to them?
We have to also understand, actually we have to get into their world and understand what they have been learning. And we also have to have our own morals to make children learn the right things. Be they even how to relate to one another, be they how to keep social distance, how to use masks. Like right now, it's a mandatory that everybody in Kenya has to put on masks. Who is helping children to actually see the importance of putting on masks? In some quarters in the rural areas, we've established that some children are running away from people who are having masks because they think if you have a mask, then you have COVID. So that kind of education, we need to do it. What does it mean to keep social distance? What kind of games can they play without actually holding each other or still keeping distance, like skipping a rope?
Yes.
One person is the other side, another on the other side, in the middle. They have the distance that is required. There are other games that require holding each other. How do we ensure that they don't get that, they still keep the social distance they're supposed to have? What does it mean to sanitize? I know we have so many, the media has come up with so many adverts on how to sanitize. What does it mean to the children? If we have these washing places in public places, some of them are too raised like this table.
Yes.
You can imagine a 2-year-old trying to wash their hand. So we are asking ourselves that we also need to educate even not only parents but the whole community, that they need to make sure that the children who constitute about 22 million Kenyans, they also have the same access services that we are supposed to be having. We allowed the government for the social, the cash transfer funds that they have given to the communities, and we know it's making a difference. Old people are getting 8,000 shillings, those with severe disabilities, and overseas who are being cared for. Our worry is, what about the child-headed families? Because they're giving this money through mobile money. They send to a number. You can imagine this child who might not have a helper, and they want their child-headed family, they need to receive that money. How are they getting it? And that's why we actually require the social sector, and I wish the Department of Children's Services, the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, and the CSOs working for various groups of people, I wish they could be considered to be part of the essential services. Because they're the ones who reach those young people, they're the ones who reach the old people. The children identify with them. When they go to them, they'll not go to them with a gun or with the police who are enforcing, but they'll go to them to tell them that actually it is important for you to do this. It's very different from actually asking the police to enforce, because the police are known to enforce the law. But right now for COVID, we are asking people to socialize them to the new norm, what the president said, the new normal. Yeah. How do we make it to be something natural, something that we need to do? That can only be done by people who are close to the children. Yes.
So what I'm hearing from your end, from where you sit, is that these children, this demographic, need to be included.
Exactly.
Need to be included in decision making during COVID-19, especially.
That's true.
Now, let's now look at the issue of gender-based violence.
Yes.
We've seen these cases are on an upward trajectory. And when it comes to those crimes, heinous crimes, perpetrators are usually, especially where children are concerned, are people they know.
That's true.
What is the current status from your end?
We, as the children's sector, we have a helpline 116, which is the helpline for children. We want to confirm that the cases of GBV, especially among children and even women, have increased. The cases have gone up. We know that there's a lot of violence that takes place at home, that takes place in the villages, and the school is actually a form of protection. It protects children when they are not at home because they are together and they are protected well by the teachers and the administration. Now that they have not been in school for a whole month, the cases have really been on the rise. At the same time, the story of people working from home. Some of the social workers are working from home, which means that even if there are cases reported to the police officers, at times the policemen don't know where to take those cases. That's why we are bringing up a case of having social workers being part of essential services. Children who are lost, where do they go? Children who have been abused, who have been defiled, when they go to the police, who is there to make their story? Who is there to counsel them? Who is there to take them up? There is nobody, because we are all working from home. And that's why, like some of our organizations, we've said we cannot work from home. We'll work from home, but still go to the office, because children still need our services. Right now, you know that the country has got the quarantine centers. The quarantine centers are usually for the adults. But even if they are for the children, a lost child who is very small, where do you take that child? Yeah, and it's actually a big problem we are having. It's only actually one county, maybe we'll hear later, who have reserved a school for such children. But the rest of the country, we don't know where to take these children. We don't know even how to get them. They are the ones who are on the street, because they also need to be quarantined for 14 days before they can rejoin their family or they can rejoin any children's center that is there.
Very well said. So this morning we're talking about a demographic that is very vital for the country, and this happens to be the children. They are the custodians of the future. The COVID-19 pandemic, a cure is yet to be found, and locally it has claimed 15 lives. Going forward, government has taken a myriad of measures, including curfew, cessation of movement from 5 counties so far, and the issue of closure of schools. This has affected how we do business, or rather how we do our normal things, and these children are not left behind. This morning we are looking at the call for children and those who work with children to be included in decision making. So this morning we are talking to this particular people. Here on Good Morning Kenya we have various children from different parts of the country, just to give us their view on how matters are being handled. There you can see we have a wide representation there. So maybe we can just start by just finding out, like, they can tell us their names. Let's talk to Ariana, who is from Mombasa County. Good morning, Ariana. So we'd like to hear from Ariana Masika, who is from Mombasa County. So if you can hear me at this point, we'd want to know how are things so far, and what is your take in regard to the way things are being handled? Hello, Ariana. How are you?
My name is. My age is 8 years old. I'm in grade 3, and I'm 3 years old, and I'm in SOS school, Mombasa, and my county is Mombasa.
Oh,
so, COVID-19 has affected me in a good way and a bad way. So I will tell you the good way first. Positively, my mom works from home, and I have a lot of time with her together. Play with my brothers and learn a lot on my computer. At the bad way, I do not go to school. I don't play with my friends. I don't go to church, and I feel bad with it. So I am praying to God. He will help us to heal, to remove this virus, so that we can stay safe and we can go to school and go to church again.
Thank you very much, Ariana, there. Ariana, thank you for that feedback there. And your concern is that you do not get to go to school, you do not get to play with your friends, and also, but you're also happy that your mom is working from home, and you enjoy learning and playing with a computer, and that you pray that a cure is going to be found sooner or later for COVID-19, and that you have asked that God, we pray for this situation to be actually, now let's hear from someone else. Let's hear from another child. That was Ariana Masika from Mombasa County, just highlighting what she, her experience during COVID-19. Now let's hear from Faith. Let's hear from Faith. So Faith, if you can hear me, good morning. Tell us where it is, which county you are from, your school and your age, please. Faith?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi Faith, how are you?
I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
My name is Faith Achando. I'm 15 years old. I study in Precious Blood Girls High School, Juja, and I'm listening from Nairobi County.
Thank you very much. So what is your general feel about COVID-19? How are you holding up first? Let's just start from there. How are you doing?
I'm trying to adjust to the fact that I can't socialize with most of my friends because they mostly help me study.
What else? What else other than just you not being able to study? What have you liked about being at home?
I get to spend more time with my dad. I get to learn how to cook more things. I do a lot of exercises and yeah,
So you
and I
enjoy
can
actually
learn.
cook and doing a few exercises. Now, apart from
Yeah,
that is Faith Achando, who is 15 years old. Tell us, remind us, which school did you say Precious Blood?
high school Georgia.
Ah, okay. Thank you very much, Faith Achando. She's 15 years old, and she says that what she likes about being at home is that she spends time with her dad, and she's learned how to cook various meals as well as doing a few exercise. However, this time the downside is that she's not been able. She misses socializing with her friends and going to school because it helps her study. I don't know if we have anyone online. Let's before we get to hear the feedback for the children we have lined up this morning, just giving us their feel about how things have changed for them in as far as COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. Now let's address two things. Remember, also we are live on our various social media platforms, that is Facebook, YouTube at KBC Channel 1 TV. You can also join in the conversation, send in your SMS, send in your feedback. We're talking about children and how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected them. We are going to be sampling that during this conversation. Now, Timothy, you've heard there from Ariana there saying that what she likes about being at home is that the mother stays home.
Yes.
The same is for Faith Achano, who says that she enjoys that her father is at home. So this has also created an avenue for parents to bond with their children.
Very true.
How is it? How the impact going forward you see about this? Do you know these relationships that would not have been there if we had been going to school?
Actually, there are positives for this situation that many of us have been running so much, including me. Many of the parents have been running up and down. We never have time to be with the children. We come home when they are asleep. We leave very early in the morning. But for the 1 month, the stories we've heard from the children and what they are telling us, there's a lot. They have actually got to know their parents better. The parents have got to know their children better. Some parents have got to know even what happens in school. Like, actually, for example, we didn't know that what happens in school. Now they are able to speak to them. Like, right now, actually, when we were discussing about social distance with some of the children, they are saying in some of their schools, like last year, they had an admission of 450 children for months. So that a class being used for 20 children is being used by 70 children. So we kept on asking ourselves, when the schools resume, the post-COVID, what will happen? And they are trying to ask, how shall we keep distance? Some of them were saying in our dormitory, we are so many that when one of us catches a cold, actually we excommunicate that person from our dormitory. So you can see, they also so we are telling them, what will you do if you go back and you also need to keep the social distance, you need to sanitize, you need to have masks. They are like, yeah, there are ways of coping. But in all these situations, teachers have been very creative. And the children have told us that in situations where they don't have enough space, the teachers know what to do. The management know what to do. So we are really hoping that as we go on, the parents are learning from children, the children are learning from parents. Even there are some jokes being said that some children are actually wondering, they were wondering why their parents are so much around. They are asking them, do you now live with us? You know, because they are being shocked that a parent can be at home for 2 days, 3 days, just sitting and talking to each other. So in a positive way, it has helped many families, many parents to actually stay with their children. But in a negative way, it has increased some of the GBV cases and some of the anxiety that has been there. When do I go back? Because they're always waiting, when do I go back to school?
So there's a lot of anxiety about, them missing school.
Yes.
But now we've said we have to lay the groundwork within the family setup. And you've said it's a high time that we went back to what we used to do traditionally. That the girls were taught by the grandmothers and the aunts, and the boys were taught by the uncles and the grandfathers.
Yes.
But now with this setup, with the issue of social distancing and cessation of movement, how do we make do? How do we get back to our roots?
Actually, for me, it depends on where you are locked up. For those who are locked up with their grandparents and aunties and uncles, the uncles can take up their role of actually educating the children. But in situations where the grandparents and the aunties are far, nowadays the parent of today, you are both a father and a grandfather. So you actually need to take up the role of the grandfather, but still be the father. the same way to the mother. You take up the role of the mother and the grandmother, so that you're educating the children the things, issues of life that they need to know. It's not the issue of just passing exams or the issue of getting 1 + 1 = 2, but how do we live? What do we do in situations when there's no food? What do we do in situations when you get through challenges? What do we do in situations where you actually have to make a decision? Those are the kind of things that now we are now teaching each other, because we were taught by our parents, those of us who happen to have grandparents by then. But I know most of the grandparents, they are young people working right now. They are in towns, they are
Yes,
looking.
things have changed.
Things have really changed.
But we have to wear different hats.
Yeah, we have to put on different hats.
Now, let's go back to the other end. We are online with these children. Now, let's hear from Abraham. Good morning, Abraham. How are you? Tell us where it is that you're watching and participating on this conversation from, your age and your school. Good morning, Abraham. Hey.
There's a problem.
Abraham, I think there's a problem with the network. He can't hear me properly, but soon we have that in hand. We will go back to Abraham. We are reminding you that we're live, and we appreciate your feedback. We are live on all our social media platforms, that is especially Facebook and YouTube. You can log in, give us your feedback. We're talking about children and just wanting to find out what is their take during this COVID-19 pandemic and how we are handling it, if we are handling it the best we can. And when I say we mean, I mean the grown-ups in society. Are we handling it as it is? Now, Barbara Odwor from Kisumu County. Good morning. Glad you could join us. Can you hear me properly? Just tell us, just give us an overview of how you're holding back up at home. Barbara? Is that Barbara Odwor?
Yes, Barbara.
Okay, my name is Barbara. I school at Nyakach Girls High School. I'm 16 years old, came from Kisumu. How this COVID-19 pandemic has affected me, it has affected me academically. You can't concentrate in school as much as you concentrate. You can't concentrate at home as much as you concentrate in school. So yeah.
So it seems there's an interruption there in terms of our connection.
Yes, so
we go back to you, Barbara.
Okay.
We're back online. Continue, please.
Okay. I was saying that since some of the parents unpaid labor, they are sending them on the streets to sell some stuff so that they can come back with food. And also,
apologies for that. It seems that we're having a bit of an online network issue there, but once it stabilizes, we'll get back to you, Barbara. That is Barbara Odwor from Kisumu County, a student of Nyakach at 16 years old. And one of his concerns, Timothy, there was the issue of lack of concentration. She says that it is not, the level of concentration does not match up when she's home, like when she's school. She's concerned about her studies, and she's mentioned something very important there, issue of child labor. Children are being sent out there to fend for their families.
Exactly. I totally agree that home is not the best place to learn as a school. That's why we have a school where everything is done. I agree that the environment at home is not a learning environment, and I agree with Barbara with those points. But at the same time, as I told you, children are always learning, and children are active, and they have to do something. We totally agree. When we said GBV has increased, even child labor has also increased, because the children now will not just stay at home and stay hungry. They'll actually will have to go and vent for themselves and get something to eat, because the parents who are working right now, they're also staying at home. You can imagine the parents who are used to earning every day. Every day is when they get what they bring home. They cannot just sit with the children. You know of the case of, which was raised by you, the media, yes, of a mother who was cooking stones for the children, yes, for the children in Mombasa, yes, just to cheat the children that we are cooking something. In such a situation, children who are very sharp, they'll say, I'd rather not let my mother die. I'd rather go out and do something and be able to bring. And that's why we are saying child labor is also on the rise. And it's up to us, again, the parents, to actually tell children, you cannot do child labor. You can only be involved in child work. We can teach you how to do things, but not into child labor. But again, at the same time, we are saying, is the provision by the parents. What are the parents doing to take care of the children? You know, when the children are in school, the parents don't spend so much money. We agree that the parents are spending too much money at home because they have to feed the children 3-4 times a day. Okay? But when they are in school, when you've paid fees, actually, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so I agree with you that we need to guard against child labor and any other labor that will expose a child to any hazard.
Now, we are also concerned about your feedback on Twitter. So if you want to get part of this conversation, our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1 and KBC Channel 1 TV. There you can see we have children from across the country. Kisumu has been represented. We had Mombasa with Ariana. We also had Nairobi there with Faith. We have so many other children who have come online to just put into perspective the issue of COVID-19 and how the situation is affecting them. Now, schools are closed. They're not socializing as they should. If they have to go out, they have to don on mask. And there's also, we've just had from our guest this morning, the issue of gender-based violence, Timothy. This is happening. Children have been witnesses to antagonism within the family setup. How is this affecting them? And in the long run, how is this going to affect their relations going forward? You know, they're seeing their mother and their father fighting, and that is bound to have, you know, some ripple effect in the future.
As I said, they are still learning.
That is also part of learning?
It's part of learning, because they are learning that when things don't go well, you fight.
But so that's not a good lesson.
It's not a good lesson, I agree with you. And that's why I'm saying that in most cases, if they were in school, they not witness such. But we're also saying, parents, let us hold up ourselves. Let us not already use this, bring more stress in the house and to the children. And at times also, it's not just the parents fighting. There are times when things get worse, the fighting now goes to the children. So it's not the best thing. And that's why we are simply saying, as parents, social workers still have a role. We might not be in every home, but we are thinking that the nyumba kumi, the people who live close to each other, we can be our brother's keeper. We can also help reduce the stress by talking to the mothers, to the fathers, and even men. You can keep your distance and still have some interactions. Because when this thing, they said you stay at home, some people are literally locked in their house. They're even not moving out. That's why we are saying, can we learn to put on a mask? Can we learn to sanitize and keep distance and still relate? We are relational human beings. But if we just keep to ourselves, that's how tempers go high, that's how stress go high, and a very small thing can actually make you a husband and wife to fight, or even fight the children. Yeah.
Okay. We've been told that we need to learn to live with COVID-19 and the measures. Sanitize, keep social distance, and wear masks. That is an issue that has been raised by the children there who are, you know, at home and watching their parents there. And as from our guest this morning, who is Timothy Ekesa, who is Executive Director at KARC, saying that we need to learn how to survive. Now we take a short break. When we return, we will be hearing from Nazleen Hassan, who is in Garissa County, to give us feedback on how things are down in Garissa and what she thinks needs to be done better to make her more comfortable. We take a short break. When we return, we'll be focusing on Garissa County with our guest this morning online. That is Nazleen Hassan. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Channel 1.
Mesi yangu na Pamela ni legit mbaya sana. Na wish tu ungeacha kwa tu negative.
I'm not being negative, Wanjala. I'm being realistic.
Wani support kweli.
But I am not getting involved with Abasi. I don't like playing his games.
It seems my sister is really keen on pursuing this charity event all by herself.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days. Dial *719# or call 719. This message has been brought to you by the government of Kenya and its partners.
Kathy, does she ever talk to you?
Kwa nini?
Kuuliza tu.
Do we need to talk about her every time we are together?
I'm sorry, but I really need to see my dad.
You will, I promise.
And why doesn't he want to meet me?
What makes you think he doesn't want to meet you? Have you met him before?
Nancy said
Aha, Nancy.
Mko sawa?
Tuko sawa bro.
Hatuko sawa.
Ni nini mbaya?
Nini huyu kijana?
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Misa zote basi mimi madawa na mimi. Kwa nini mama?
Sasa usipokumbusha utarekebishika vipi mwanangu? Angalau na wewe onekani kama wanadamu, wewe kama mtu. Utakichea wewe kwenye wadhifa wote kwa kunya baba.
Iwe baba,
Mam,
iwe mama, iwe Yusuf. Hakuna mtu aweza niambia mimi kitu hapa. Sasa kama watakuelewana na mimi, basi si ninachokwambia.
Niache.
Niache.
Hii picha gani ambayo katika familia?
Yusuf.
Sadi, mbona watuibisha familia?
Wewe utanipatia mimi heshima kama babako au?
No. Hii ni nini? Nataka uniambie tu, hii ni nini?
Good morning once again. We are tuning in. This is KBC Channel 1 and you're watching Good Morning Kenya. I'm Regina Manyera Gitao. This morning we're talking to a demographic that has somewhat been excluded in as far as COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. These are the children. So this morning the show is dedicated to children so that they can tell us what we have done and what we need to do so that we can lower their levels of anxiety. Now we're crossing over to Garissa County to Nazleen Hassan. Good morning, Nazleen. Tell us how old you are and the school you attend. Hey Nazleen, how are you? Well, there's a problem with your mic. Kindly put it on, then we'll get back to you. But as you remember, we are live. We are on various social media handles on Twitter. We are expecting your tweets at KBC Channel 1. And also, we are going to head to Mombasa County shortly to meet up with Philip Nzenge, who is the county children's coordinator, to just bring us up to speed as to what government has done to support children down in Mombasa County as far as the COVID-19 pandemic is concerned. Now, Nazleen, I hear your mic is now on. Over to you, Nazleen. Good morning once again.
Good morning. My name is Nazleen Hassan from Garissa County, and I'm 16 years old. I go to Light International Academy, and the issue with coronavirus in Garissa County is that with most of the parents being low-learned, we don't have the accessible internet and the gadgets that we need to access the internet, and also the quality of the is so slow. Like you can't load anything, and also availability of the because they have to work money like it's not easy for them to be home so it's not easy for them to be home. And apart from that is that we haven't been having classes for the past 1 month in county before the coronavirus. And so with the coronavirus right now, it's like we haven't had education for the past 2 terms, for the past 1 term. It's adding like and added right now another term, and it's simply so hard for us to actually learn and understand something from computers or like teachers who are not there to help us understand. Yeah.
Oh, that is great. That is great information there, Nazlin. But I'd want to ask, what positives have you seen during your stay at home? What have you enjoyed during this stay?
The bonding time with my grandmother, like actually I've had enough to be with her, so it's actually easy for me to talk to her, to get to know her much better. And also my mom, my friends and everyone, I haven't seen them for a while. I like sometimes I'll be in school for 3 months. I get like 2 weeks of holiday right now. I talk to them. Yeah, that's the positive thing. Like I'm learning a lot of stuff from my grandmother. She's like I'm talking to my mom. I'm bonding with her right now. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nazlin. Just to give you feedback on a story that we had carried on, and that is in regard to your particular question here on issue of internet access or lack of, and it being slow. In the next 2 weeks or 3, Kenya is going to attain 100% internet connectivity following the partnership that Telecom Kenya and Google Loon signed and was officiated by the president. That is a communication that we got from PSICT Jerome Ochieng, who was here in studio early this week, just showing that areas that were considered off-grid for one reason or another, we are going to attain 100% internet connectivity. So you might be able to, you'll be able to, surf with the right internet speeds. Concerns there, just Timothy, just on a one-on-one basis, it seems that parents are now having an opportunity to bond with their children, and children are actually saying, and I can quote Nazlin say, I get time to talk to my mom.
Yeah.
I get time to talk to my mom and my grandmother. Maybe this is an opportunity to go back to our roots and give that kind of education you're talking about?
Exactly. It's a very big opportunity that we should not miss. For the 21 days that we've been at home and the next 21 days, let us give the best education we can to these children, because it's an opportunity that we might not have again. So we are asking all parents, make use of it.
They make use of it. Now we cross over to my county, Mary County, where we get to hear from our student there in Mary County. Good morning. How are you? Tell us your name and with your age and also the school that you attend. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Is your signal correct? Now, Isaac, can you hear me? Isaac from Meru County. We are waiting on to your signal. Well, we are getting that right. Just remind you that we are live. And we're also going to be hearing from Mombasa County soon about the status report of what the county government has done down there to ensure that they're supporting children during COVID-19. I understand, Isaac, you're back online. So good morning, Isaac. Tell us which school you attend and how old you are. Good morning, Isaac. Meru is quite a mountainous region there. I come from Meru. We say the land of the hills and the land of plenty.
It's true.
So I'm sure maybe it's because
the
internet might be fluctuating, but government has told us that in such areas, mountainous and now
the loon what?
Yes, the Google Loon. The Google Loon. Now Adwar. Barack Obama.
Wow.
Over to you. Good morning, Barack. How are you? Tell us which school you attend and how old you are.
And I school at Aga Khan.
You go to school at Aga Khan. Just tell me, what is your feel? How are you holding up? What do you want to change? How are you doing? By the way, let's just start. You have a very awesome name there, Barack. So how are you holding up?
This coronavirus pandemic has affected me as a learner. Learning at home at home there are many distractions, so some children can't focus at home as they used to focus in school.
So lack of concentration, focus at home. But what do you like about being home, Barak? I can see some members of your family are just on the screen behind you. I mean, what have you enjoyed from being home and not being in school?
Staying at home, at home we do some, we, for example, we do some work, for example, like cleaning the house. We usually do that.
So do you enjoy doing these house chores, or are they too much for you?
I enjoy.
Good.
nice.
That is good. Continue assisting in home chores. There are not so many
you.
people actually enjoy that. That's the kind of learning that you're talking
Exactly,
about.
yeah.
Doing house chores.
Informal learning, non-formal learning.
Informal learning.
And maybe it's part of CBC. CBC actually says they want children to be practical and not just doing exams. It might be part of CBC.
Now, Barak, we'd also want to know, what is your take in regard to this COVID-19 from your perspective, from a child's perspective? It's a high time we heard from you. What do you think, what is your general feel about COVID-19 pandemic?
I was thinking that what the government should do, providing sanitizers and masks for the children, and also providing supplementary books for the children, especially the ones who are going to sit for their KCP and KTSE exams.
Ah, very well said. So if I was to ask you a question, if you've been away from school for around 2 months, what would you feel if you're told you're going to repeat this particular year? How would you feel about that?
I will feel bad and I will not like it.
You'll not like it. So you want to proceed into your next class?
Yeah.
Very, very, very well. Now let's cross over. That is Kisumu County there. Barak saying that he enjoys doing chores, but he would not totally be open to repeating the class courtesy of COVID-19 and the close of schools. Now we cross over to Mount Meru County, where we had Isaac on standby. Now, Isaac. Kimathi?
Hello.
Muga.
Yes, I can hear you.
Muga.
Mkwega.
Ibwega sana. You're watching KBC Channel 1. Just give us a feedback. Just what is your take? How are you feeling how are you holding up during this COVID-19 situation?
We're really trying as much as possible to get on with this, to cope with the COVID-19, because it has affected us, me personally, spiritually and socially. I cannot socialize with my friends the way I used to do in the past, get on, hang around with them, have fun with them. I cannot still go to church, have my time with God. It's too late. I still fear getting the virus. I fear losing much in school. I fear repeating the same school. So it has really affected me so much. I can't just help but just thinking about this pandemic.
There, you're fearful about contracting the virus, and also you're concerned about being told to repeat a class. You're not open to that, and that you're missing out on church and time to just bond and bond with your spirit. But you can worship from wherever it is that you are. You don't necessarily have to be in church, Isaac. Kimathi, you can pray from anywhere. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Thank you very much. Remember, we are coming to you live from all counties this morning, and you're talking to children to just hear their feedback about how it's, how it's affecting them. We know we've made decisions, government has made decisions, parents have made decisions during this COVID-19 to just ensure that they take care of their children because they come first. Question is, have we put the children into consideration? That was either Kimathi, who comes from Meru County, so we had an opportunity to speak my mother tongue on national television, but hey, that's why we are KBC Channel 1, and hii ni shirika la baba na mama, so we can afford to do that.
Which means children can be learning mother tongue at home.
Yes, children can be learning mother tongue. Hey, I'm not too sure if we are the ones to teach them mother tongue. I may not be very good about it.
Yeah.
But remember, we are live on all counties, so we are trying to sample everyone, and we're going to be doing this, and you're watching this only exclusively on Good Morning Kenya on KBC Channel 1. Now we cross over to another county. That is Amasha? Tamasha. Now, good morning, Tamasha. How are you? Tell us how old you are. Tamasha Chepkemboy from Nakuru County. Good morning. Tamasha, beautiful name. Tamasha, hey, how are you? Good morning. Tamasha, I think
maybe her mic is off or something.
Tamasha there is having some issues of internet, but there we've heard from Barack. Oh yeah, Tamasha, you're back online. Yeah, let's do this. Good morning. How are you? You have a very beautiful name. Tamasha, should I wave? Hey, hello. Hi, Tamasha. How are you?
I think net problem.
Yeah, there's a network problem, but when we get back, we're going to be talking to Tamasha Chepkemboy, who is from Nakuru County, to just give us feedback about the situation on ground. Now, let's just work on your mic, Tamasha, so that we can better hear you. We are having a bit of feedback on our end, and I think the internet is a bit slow on your end. Kindly work on that. Then we're going to get back to you shortly. Now, Timothy, just in a comment there that has been made by Isaac and Barack. The issue of the possibility of repeating a class is not something that they are open to at this point.
I know it's a big thing even for you when you're in school. Repeating actually means that you didn't do so well. It means that you did not do what you were expected to be done. No child wants to repeat in a class. And that's why this discussion, for me right now, the teachers, the management, we should be discussing these issues. What do we do so that we don't also stress children again? No child wants to repeat because they might think they are repeating because they failed. They are repeating because they did not perform well. But this, because of COVID, it's not their mistake that they are repeating. And that's why we are saying right now, the discussions going on with the school managers, with the social workers, should be how do we handle this situation in a way that we don't put so much stress on children. Yeah.
We need to have those conversations. Well, now we're waiting for Tamasha Chepkemboy from Nakuru County. We have Agado, Faith Agado, Faith Ayano.
Hello.
Good morning. How are you? Oh, we are back. We're back. This is Nairobi County. We're back. We're back. Now, there Isaac and Barack raised a point there, the issue of repeating a class. Would want to know, what is your take? Would you be willing to repeat or rather retake this year, since that you've missed almost a term plus? Would you be open to that, Faith?
Not comfortable repeating with the grade I'm in right now. It usually discourages people because most people say if you repeat, get a lower grade than the grade you had the last exam you did. So I'm willing to sacrifice August, November, December holidays so that I can move to class.
Ah, very well. Faith there is ready to sacrifice the remaining of the school, not just to avoid repeating. And her argument is that conversations out there is that whenever you retake a class, you're bound to get a lower grade. We don't know if that's scientific, but that's just a feel. Remember, we are coming to you live and we're appreciating your feedback. Our SMS line is 2154. Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. And we are on Facebook Live as well as YouTube, just to try and put this into perspective. Remember, we have representative across all counties. Now we have Ahmed on the line. Ahmed, how are you? Ahmed? Rukia. Ahmed apparently has gone offline. Rukia? Good morning, Rukia. Rukia, how are you? Hi, how are you? Good morning.
Maybe the mic is off also.
Good morning. Well, they're trying to set up there. That is Rukia. We still have Tamasha Chepkemboy on standby. Well, they're working on that. And we all know about what the internet is all about. Remember, government has ensured as we talk about matters of internet, there's also the issue of how we are using this internet at home. Maybe that's something we also need to address, the issue of overexposure of children during this time, especially now that we are on our laptops, on our phones and everything else, and they're home. How should we handle that?
It is true. That is an area of concern. Online sexual exploitation or even online abuse, there's a lot going on. And that's why we also need to educate our children about which chat rooms not to go. And we've had cases even where some of them have been hacked and some pornographic material has been exposed to children. So we also need to limit. Actually, as parents, it's part of the teaching we are doing. The same way we use our phones, we use our laptops, we also need to expose it to our children so that they know there's some place. Internet is a very good thing, but it can also ruin the whole country. So we are simply saying it's education, education, and education.
Education, education, education. And we need to limit the exposure that we are meting out on children. Tamasha Chepkemboy from Nakuru is on standby there. Rukia also is on standby. But now we cross over to Alex. Alex Adeya, Alex, good morning. How are you? Tell us how old you are and the school you attend. Alex?
This is from Busia County.
Adjust your mic, Alex. Your mic is muted there, Alex. I understand Alex is from Busia County. Are you ready now, Alex?
Hello?
Yes. Good morning, yes. Alex. How are you? Your sound sounds very clear. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
Ah, you're good. Tell us how old are you and which school do you attend?
I'm 14. I go to school in Compassion. Hello?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You're 14 years old. Continue speaking. Just tell us, what is your feel? How are you holding up during COVID-19? And what are the areas you think we need to improve as grown-ups, that is?
The internet is bad for us, mostly who are near the border. Sometimes the internet is from Uganda, not Kenyan. Fault in internet.
So you're getting internet services from our neighbor there, Uganda, instead of Kenya. Well, the government just confirmed that in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And since the school closed, we haven't got in touch with teachers to know on homework. We are on our own.
Ah, very well. So what are you doing now because you cannot get in touch with your teachers? What are you doing? What are you doing to ensure that you still keep up with your studies?
I look for my own work and do.
And who supervises? Who marks?
Family.
Who checks your work? Who checks your work? Who supervises?
Yes.
But who supervises that work that you're doing? And who checks it? Who marks it? Or you just do it and who marks your work?
I think he has frozen.
Okay, well, that is a very proactive child. I look for my work and I do. I look for my work and I do. And besides, internet there. Ruki, I think you had muted your mic. You can adjust that. Then we get to you. There is Alex from Busia County, 14 years old. He said he's not gotten in touch with his teachers, so he has taken a proactive. Now, Rukia Usipote, we are coming back to you. I understand you want to left. We are not lefting the WhatsApp group. We are here to put these matters into perspective. Now, we cross over to Garissa County. You're going to come back to Alex, who said he's proactive. Now, Rukia? Good morning, Rukia. Rukia, we can hear you, but we can't see you yet. So kindly adjust that. We know there's an issue of internet in Garissa County, but the government there has. Rukia, are you ready now?
No, it's not aware.
Or if you're not ready now, let's go back to Alex and talk about issues that Alex raised, that he cannot get in touch with his teachers. He has decided to do his own work. He is not so sure about who checks his work, but he's doing his work. And he said the internet is an issue, especially in the border. No, maybe that's another issue, the issue of there is no equity in terms of this online learning. And what are you doing to advocate that you have at least equitable resources?
Actually, the whole program the president had started with about having laptops in every school and connecting electricity in every school and being able to have internet, it was a very good thing, which if implemented in full, it will help, it will equalize this country. But I totally agree, there are some areas where even the network for telephony is a problem, where we don't have internet. Like you can hear Alex is saying they get it from Uganda. Now you wonder why Uganda has better network than Kenya. So actually it's a whole discussion that this COVID-19 has brought out. How do we equalize this country? It is a discussion that is multidimensional. Everybody has to come on board, not just security only, but everybody. It gives us a chance to reflect and be able to say, what can we do as a country in order to enable the future generation to be able to move to the next level? Yeah.
Now let's hear from another child. Just tell us where it is that you are. Wesley? Jesse. Jesse, good morning. I don't know if pronunciation is a bit different here. Good morning, Jesse, how are you? Tell us how old you are and where it is that you hail from and your school. Jesse? Good morning. Jesse,
Is your mic off? Can you put on your mic?
Put up. Yeah, good morning, Jesse.
I think it's the mic.
Your
the
mic is not on mute.
Put on the mic.
Okay, your mic is, yes. Put it on. Good morning, Jesse. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. Now you can.
Jesse. I'm Jesse Tembete from Kiambu County. I'm 16 years old and I study at Kiambu High School.
Good. Now we're talking about high school life. What I know, second term is, I don't know if it's music festival or drama, no, music festivals during the
it has all the functions.
Yes. So what have you missed about school? I know second term was all about music. What have you in particular missed from school?
I have had a big connection and a very nice connection with my teachers. So most especially, I really miss my teachers because they're like my best friends. Yeah.
Oh, your teachers are like your best friends. So, and what have you enjoyed about being home during this time?
Well, okay, this situation has had its pros and cons. Like one, I've been able to improve my work ethic. Like I've been able to be independent as a person in my reading, which I was I was struggling with before. But right now I'm able to read on my own and I'm able to do my own work because we're supposed to do the work on our own.
That is Jesse there from Kiambu High, just telling us that he has become a bit proactive and he misses his teachers there, his best friend. Now, in the meantime, while we're still looking, focusing on Jesse and what he has said, Moringo Ndikwe, unmute your mic. We're coming back to you there. Jesse there has highlighted another issue there, that his teachers are his best friend. He has made a personal bonding with them and he misses them and he misses them. That's one issue. How we relate children with their teachers. Now let's hear if this is the same for Moringo Ndikwe. Good morning, Moringo. How are you? I'm great myself. So tell us, what do you miss about school, or do you even miss school? Let's just begin there. You might not be missing school. How are you holding up?
It's bittersweet because I have grown to like school, but then I also like being home because I've been able to explore different angles of like things I wouldn't have done while in school, like baking and stuff. So yeah, it's bittersweet.
It's bittersweet there. But in the way the government is handling just the spread of this pandemic is the issue of if you have to go out of your home, you have to wear a mask. How does that make you feel and maintain social distancing? I know children, or rather at that age, you were hugging, we are holding hands. How does that make you feel? Social distancing, use of masks, what is your take, Ndikwe?
It's very difficult walking around with masks every time. Like sometimes it's difficult to breathe. It's hot outside, so it just becomes a very difficult scenario. But I get the point where the government is coming from, and we might not like it, but we just have to comply with what they say because nobody wants to get the virus. And if masks are one of the safest ways, then yeah.
Thank you very much. That is Moringa Ndikwe saying that in as much as it's a bit difficult to have to don in this PPEs as it is, they have to agree to that. And she says it's a bittersweet situation, being home versus missing school and all that. We're trying to nini a balance. Now let's hear from Natalie Wanjiro Muriongi. Natalie Wanjiro Muriongi, kindly unmute your mic so that we can have this conversation and get to hear what you have to say in regard to the issue of COVID-19 and what you think needs to be done to lessen your anxiety. So now that is feedback. And now let's see, Natalie, are you online?
Yeah.
Natalie, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm awesome. Thank you very much. You're the first person to actually ask me how I'm doing. Thank you very much, Natalie. I'm doing great. And I'm sure even my guest on the other side of the studio.
Yes.
Tim, how are you?
I'm well. I'm
well.
Natalie has asked us how we are.
You're good?
I'm good.
Well, thank you very much, Natalie. We are doing fine. And we'd want to establish how are you yourself during this time. You're not in school. Tell us which school you attend and how old you are and what you feel about being cooped up at home and not meeting your friends as you should.
My name is Natalia Wanjiro. I'm 10 years old. I go to St. Anthony's School. And COVID-19 has affected us because, we are still getting a lot of homework, but at least we are making progress at home. And
now,
also,
Natalie, you have very beautiful eyes. We have seen that.
Thank you.
Can you kindly move away from the screen? I think you have zoomed. You've zoomed in on your face, so we can't see your full structure. Just take a few steps back, a little more.
Yeah.
Now we can fully see you. How about I also introduce you to our viewers who are watching from all parts of the country this morning. So Natalie, you were telling us about your experience being at home. So kindly do continue.
It's being at home is nice. I don't miss school at all. School is the worst place ever.
Oh God.
But we are still getting homework. We get homework, we finish, and we do a lot of revision. And staying home was the best thing that ever happened.
Hallelujah. I know your parents are like, oh my God, did she say that on national television? Thank you for giving us that feedback. You enjoy being home, and you said being home is the best thing ever. How? Why? Yeah. Why is it awesome like that?
Because sometimes at school, teachers give you too much homework, or you get beaten or punished or something like that. So all that stress is gone.
Oh, no more punishment, yeah? No more homework, no more stress. Now, before we finish off with Natalie, we would want Wayne to be on standby. Kindly unmute Wayland. Wayne. Kindly unmute your mic. We're coming back to you. But I'm not done with you yet, Natalie there. You've said this issue of punishment is what is making you think, home it's best. But you see, I'm sure your mom and your dad also discipline you, or don't they? Or you get away with that?
Well, our dad is the one who does all the teaching. And mom is just there to, ask, do you want a snack? Or maybe she just supervises and looks over, But dad is the one.
So unatumia simu. Kipigia simu tu kidogo inatu.
Very well there. So dad is authoritarian, mom is the coddler. Well, let's just say you are speaking to national television. They should not hold that against you. But at the end of the day, you enjoy being held. Tamasha, kindly also unmute your mic. That is Natalie Wanjiro, who happens to come from Murang'a County, and she's 10 years old. Tamasha Chepkemboi, unmute your mic from Nakuru. And her take home is that school she doesn't want school. There was a lot of
Just
punishment.
stay at home, yes.
And she says home is the best
Home
thing
is
ever.
the best place.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Tamasha, once again, we want to repeat, we are having you online, but your mic is on mute. Kindly unmute the mic so that we can get back to you there. Team, there are children appreciating being at home.
Yeah.
Natalie says this is the best thing ever.
It is called
Matiang'i
children voices.
should hear that.
You should hear that. We don't need schools. We just stay at home, and it's a very good thing.
Now we cross over to Tamasha. Thank you for coming on board. Tamasha Chepkemboi, we had you earlier, but we had a problem with the network from Nakuru County. Good morning, Tamasha. Tamasha, good morning. How are you?
5.
Oh, how old are you? You're 5?
Yes.
Where did your front teeth go? Where did you take your front teeth? Oh my God. Don't worry, you still look nice. Hey, tell me, what's your take about this COVID-19? And I'm sure you know you're not going to school. And how has that made you feel? Tamasha, nasikia unakwambia uongea. Yes, ongea na mimi. Mimi who is waving in studio. Me who is waving. Talk to me. The rest you'll talk to them later. Tell us about your feel about being at home during this time. Ongea.
I'm feeling sad because of coronavirus. Because of coronavirus, the disease is very bad. Wash your hands.
Oh my God. Tamasha, tell the people who are telling you to direct you on, how to answer the questions. Just let her speak. Jaribu, zungumza nami, talk to me. Niambie, maoni yako ni gani? Uko nyumbani, haujaenda shuleni, wewe ni wa miaka 5, haujaonana na marafiki. Huu ugonjwa umekupeleka vipi, Tamasha? Zungumza nami. You can speak in Swahili. Or do we say Kongoi? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tamasha. That's our youngest participant this morning. She's 5 years old. And she's just saying this disease is very bad. That is Tamasha Chepkemboi from Nakuru County. We've been trying to get her online. Just saying that as far as she's concerned, this disease is very bad. Yeah, that is genuine feel from the children. And this morning we are focusing on children because we need to have them heard, their thoughts and, about how things are being handled, whether we are missing something as grown-ups. Now, Solomon, we're coming to you in not too long. Kindly unmute your mic, Solomon. Solomon, we are coming to you. Kindly unmute your mic so that we can have this conversation. Now, team there, even children as young as 5 years, we've heard there from Tamasha saying this disease is very bad. Are we doing justice in exposing these children? There was a meme that was going out on social media that whenever the cabinet secretary for health comes on air, wanasema ndio ule mtu wa corona, How do we disseminate or break down this information to suit the children?
Actually, that's what I've kept on saying from the start. The social sector of this country needs to explain that this is a development issue. This is a social issue. It's a health issue, yes, we agree. But how do we, because it's affecting every facet of our life, how do we make it in a way that people realize that this is something which other countries have gone through? It's something, is a passing cloud. It's something which will come and be over. And also explain to the children in the language they can understand. Most of the IEC materials that we prepared, are they child-friendly? Is it something a child can relate to? All they know is a bad thing. It is killing people. People are being infected. People are dying. Some are recovering. Yeah.
Now, Solomon, umesongea sana karibu na TV. Songa
nyuma
kidogo tu. Nyuma tu kidogo ndo tuweze kukupata vizuri. Unajaza hii screen yangu ndogo hivi. Sikuoni vizuri. Solomon, well, take just a few steps back, Kiasi, then we can hear from you. I hope your mic is unmute. Fine. Kindly move a few steps back, Solomon, so that you can fit you on our small screens here on studio. But now you've said that we need to take up that social issue and, demystify this COVID-19 for them.
Demystify and make it as simpler as it can. As like any other sickness, it's dangerous, yes, but you can be able to, this is how you can contract it, this is how you can avoid contracting it, and it will be over. Just that assurance that
now
it is going to be
there's
over.
something that the children have mentioned, the issue of fear, general fear. And from a parent's point of perspective, I'm wondering, what are the telltale signs that my child is actually undergoing stress? What should I be looking out for? Maybe do you have some tidbits?
There are many telltale signs of a child who is stressed. Some keep quiet, they don't just talk. Some become so nagging. Others can even start breaking things in the house, breaking the television, breaking the cups. You know, they are trying to look for attention. And or some will just want your attention. They keep on calling you mom, dad. They'll call you for no reason. And some will even express it openly and say, I think, mom, people are dying. I'm also going to die. What do I do? That's why I said, being a parent, you are a father, you are a grandfather, mother, grandmother, a counselor. You are everything all wrapped in one.
Now, as we come to a close for this session as far as today is concerned, let's hear from Nekesa. Good morning, Nekesa.
Penina.
Nekesa?
Patience.
Oh, Penina? Penina?
Yes, Patience.
Patience, sorry. Patience, good morning.
Is your mic on?
Kindly check if your mic is unmute or rather on. It is on. Patience. Well, as we try to get patients online, just in a nutshell as we come to a close, because we're going to be doing this survey at least once a week to get to know and rope in children and find out as far as they're concerned, what are their immediate worries, and also post-COVID, what would they want us as the grown-ups, including government and private sector, to do to ensure that their levels of anxiety are maintained and that they present hope for the future. Now, team, as we come to a close, what message would you want to give, especially caregivers who are dealing with children? And you've said, yes, those are telltale signs, but how do we manage our children? How do we pass on that message of hope that there is life after COVID-19?
I think from where I sit, and we've shared this in the sector, we cannot work from home. Children, actually their name is today. We all have to reach out to the children, reach out with the positive messages, reach out with let us look at the positivity of this COVID period. How do we ensure that we make it to empower children, to solidify children? And how do we use it to actually reach out to the children who are having challenges? Prevent the challenges, prevent the GBV, but also be able to help the young people, the children, to know that they can go through it. Other countries have gone through it. Share with them examples of other countries, and also be more child-friendly. Some countries like China right now, they are now having specific masks for children. Maybe also work towards that. Let us already start training them. Train the children on wearing masks, train them on social distancing, so that it becomes a part of life. Rather than saying we are sitting and waiting. We can't sit and wait. We've waited for 21 days. We are going to wait for another 21 days. We don't know for how long we'll wait again. I think life has to go on. Children are growing, and they are relying on us. We are the biggest people they have ever seen, and we are the people they rely on. If we don't give them the correct information, they'll live in fear, they'll have stigma, and in the end, post-COVID, we might have a big psychosocial problem to deal with if we don't deal with it right now.
Very well said, because we want to hear from Rukia as we come to a close. Kindly, Rukia, adjust your sitting position. Kindly move back a little bit so that we can accommodate you in our screens. We'd also want to very much thank the children that have participated in this morning conversation. Ariana Masika from Mombasa. We had Barbara Odwar. We also had Nazleen, who we couldn't get online. We also had Faith Achanda from Nairobi County, Abraham, and we also had Isaac from Meru County, who said that he needs to, get back to church. We had Alex, there, and we had Jesse as well as Moringo there from Nyeri County, and Tamasha Chepkemboy, who happened to be our youngest contributor. Now, Ariana, kindly unmute your mic. Maybe you can close for us at this session. Remember, it's going to be going on subsequently to just feel what the children are experiencing. Ariana? Good morning once again. How are you?
I'm fine.
Now, just in closing, what would you want to tell? Oh, good morning. Oh, there you are. Where are your teeth? Where did you take your front teeth? Yeah, where did you take your front teeth? They're missing, but you'll get better ones going forward. So tell us, what message would you want to send to the fellow children who are still at home because of this COVID-19 as we come to a close? Ariana?
To keep safe. To keep them, staying home, following the rules, and having fun.
So that they continue having fun. So what kind of activities are you enjoying at home right now? Okay, we are having a problem with sound there, but that is Ariana saying, hey, you continue keeping safe. That's for the children, and maintain the guidelines, or rather follow the rules, as she said, but also have fun. Wow. That is the point of it. Children, they're just, you see, we need to have fun. Just to emulate, or rather repeat what Natalie Wanjiro from Muranga County, who happens to be 10 years old, says, is that being home is the best thing ever, because he got to stay with the family, with the mother and father. They're saying that the mother is providing the snacks, the dad is doing the education, which is good. That is what we call co-parenting. It's true. Co-parenting. Now, I just want to remind you that we have been focusing on this survey, this conversation, just bringing on children, because we felt at one point as grown-ups, they might have been left out in decision-making as far as COVID-19 is concerned. You've already given us a take. Maybe you can add on to, just as we close, especially on the issue of co-parenting team as we come to a close.
For me, actually, the best solutions for children lie with the children. If we can be able just to listen to them and hear what they are saying. Some of these stories maybe they have never told their parents. It's true, we need to co-parent, even if we are guardians. We need to see how we can be able to guide the children. Not every child has father and mother. Some have guardians, even who are older people. But how do we help them grow up? Somebody helped us to grow up. Can we help the children to grow up in the right way in the current situation? I'm sure there have been many other sicknesses in the world that have taken place, but our parents managed to help us go through it. So all we are saying, let us dedicate a bit more time now we have children at home. Dedicate a bit more time to them and be able to sit with them, listen to their stories, tell them stories, so that they can realize that our parents are there, our guardians are there, and even also our leaders in this country. Let us dedicate the same way KBC has done. Maybe even the other political leaders dedicate some time to children, because at times they listen to you. You are the role models. They want to hear what are you saying about children. Let's not just only make it look gloom and gloom. COVID is killing people, but it has also provided an opportunity for us to co-parent, and everybody who is an adult is a parent.
Very well said, that you need to look at children in terms of within the community setup, not that they belong to Regina or Timothy, but bringing up children is a community. It takes a village.
Raise a child.
Back then it would work. Right now you cannot reprimand another person's child without being worried about.
That's a discussion for another day.
The reaction they will get. That's a discussion for another day. But there you have. That is Timothy Ekesa, who is the Executive Director of KR. But before we leave, before we close, we cannot forget to rope in Philip Nzenge, who is a County Children's Coordinator in Mombasa County. Good morning, Philip. How are you? Just tell us what the County of Mombasa is doing to support children during COVID-19.
Good morning. I'm calling from Mombasa. I'm the County Children Coordinator, Mombasa. And in Mombasa, we are actually challenged by COVID-19, as all we know. But as the government and the department mandated to ensure that children are protected within the Mombasa County, first we are working with all stakeholders. We have brought them on board. And we usually have the same meeting like what we're having today, the Zoom meeting. And we look on what each and every organization has to do. Again, we have also worked very closely with the county government. And knowing Mombasa has a serious problem of child labor and street children, as the government do the Street Family Trust Fund, we have started an emergency shelter, and we have actually rescued 51 children from the street. I must say that we are challenged in Mombasa because we don't have rescue center. And because of that, we have actually came up with a child-friendly safety unit. Now, when a child is abused, instead of the police telling the child and maybe the abuser to go back to home, we are now getting the children to a safer place. And after going through health monitoring, psychosocial support, and counseling, we can know where is the best place to place the child. We children, we have started online meeting, also the parents, and we are encouraging the children to come, also talking to the parents online so that they can also be very close to their children. And our message through the media, because we have the media engagement in Mombasa, is that let children not take too much time in the media online because they are being are not helpful to them. I want to say this for Mombasa people, that we need to be together and support the children that they can gain the best. Thank you.
Very well, Philip Nzenga there. He is the County Children's Coordinator, Mombasa County. Some of the take home from his conversation there is that that county has dedicated a children-friendly, only exclusively for children, quarantine center. That is a step in the right direction because questions are abound. Because when we hear this, the government giving its statement on the persons who have been affected by COVID-19 or rather contracted COVID-19, you hear the ages between 4 all the way to under 18s. This happened to fall in the cluster of children as per the constitution and the law. Then the question is, are they quarantined or rather isolated with grown-ups? We know children have different needs, so this is a step in the right direction from Mombasa County. We have been talking to Philip Nzenge, who is a county children's coordinator, who has also emphasized that we need to check and limit the exposure of children online at a time when cyberbullying has been very rampant during this time. And just from the Communication Authority of Kenya has said that they have seen an upward trajectory in online bullying during this time, saying that maybe the people have too much hands on their hands, too much time on their hands, and that's why they're taking to this. So you as a parent or you as a caregiver or as an adult within the family setup, you need to limit the exposure of children online during this time. Well, I'm Regina Manyara Gitao. I'd want to leave you in the able hands of my colleague, that is Ram Aguko, to take us to another session of our conversation, and we're going to be focusing on the domino effect of COVID-19 onto the economy. We have an analyst, we have an expert in studio to just take us through that conversation. I'm Regina Manyara Gitao. My guest this morning has been Timothy Ekesa, who is Executive Director of KACR, the Kenya for Advocacy of Kenya Children's Rights. Karibu tena.
Thank you very much.
Now, well, that brings a close. We take a short break. But when we return, we're going to be focusing on matters economy as far as COVID-19 is concerned.